Hi, my name is Conrad, and this is my moving platform demo for my third-person platformer in Unity. This time, I had to expand my play area outwards a bit to create this whole new test area to show you the capabilities of what I've created. I'll just give you a quick rundown of the setup. As you can see, we've got 3 steps going up here to a certain height. Over here, we have a button that can be pressed to turn on and off moving platforms from being spawned, depending on the platform handler that it's linked up to. We have a lava pool that actually decreases in height from up here to down there. And in reflection, we only have 2 steps at the other end. With the handler, that is where all of the moving platforms spawn within. As you can see, we've got 3 things in there to start with. We've got a start point over here, we've got an end point over there, and we've got a pivot point in the middle here. And as you can see, if I go above, that is right in the middle of the sphere of the curve, and that generates the curve based on this pivot point, of which the moving platforms spin along. The moving platforms themselves, as you can see, are prefabs, and they have their own movement script on them, which reach out to the start and end and pivot points of the handler that they're attached to, and then they simply move over time from the start to the end point given a certain length of time, and that is set within the handler. As you can see, it takes 10.5 seconds to get from the start all the way to the end, and it spawns child platforms every 2.1 seconds. And it has a simple activated on or off ball, which is turned on and off by the button. Now, the button I used is the same I did for my door system, but extremely stripped back and simply links up to the UUID of the handler. And as you can see, I've got demo MP1 there and demo MP1 there, and they sync up together. And all it does is it's got the same smoothing of the button. You can set a depth of how far it pushes in, and how long it takes to push in and out the button, and at what point it activates. Right now I've got it linked up to the length because it makes sense. Once the button gets pushed in, it gets triggered, right? Cool. So yeah, let's demo this and show you what it can do. As we see, back in my game with my good ass character, and as before with the button, if you're not facing it, it will not activate, but if you are, then it will. And here we are. Here are my moving platforms. Right now, what they do is that when you walk onto them, they will start moving you. There you go. And it's quite simple. They move you from one end to the other, and once you do reach the end, it will actually push you up onto the edge. If you've got the edge that's close enough. And that's all set within the prefabs of the platforms themselves. Now, here I've got a detection height. That's how high the player has to be off the platform for it to grip, to hold on to the player and move it. Right now it's 0.5, so that means only if I'm standing on the platform will it grip me. I shall show this simply by jumping on. As you can see, as soon as I jump off, I lose grip. It doesn't pull me along anymore. Now, this is ideal for platforming sequences, where one has to jump from one platform to the other. But if you wanted to use these platforms for something like moving the player from one end to the other and not having to worry about if they fall off, you can always go in and change this number. So let's go in and change the prefabs number to, say, 3, given the player's height is 2.6. This should hopefully keep me on the platform. Even if I jump up, I won't leave its detection range. Whoop! Spawning inside the ground there, even knew. There you go. If I move up and down, I don't leave. Only if I exit the area do I leave its traction, its positioning of me. And yeah, that's how that works. So let's undo that. The last thing I wanted to show was how this can adapt to however you would like the system to work. As you can see, as you saw earlier, I have a start and end and a pivot point. Now, if I show you this in action, I can show what you can do. So let's turn it on. There you go. Let's hop into the scene. As you can see, it moves from there to there, given that kind of like edge of the sphere based on this pivot point. Of course, if I move the pivot point away, the sphere, the angle is much larger, and it's a smaller curve. And the way I do this is I actually use a slurp. So this uses the distance away from the pivot point. So that means it's not limited to 2 dimensions. It can also go 3 dimensions. Of course, if I move the pivot down, the sphere moves, the edge of the pivot is of course down, so it moves up and down from the start to the end of the platform. You can do some really cool stuff with this. You can move it in the middle of the point and create a looping platform that goes from one end to the other, up and down like a wheel. And of course we can play around with the handler settings. We can up the speed to only take 6 seconds to get from one side to the other. We can up the spawn rate to spawn every 0.5 seconds, making a lot of platforms. Let's slow this to 4. Look at that. Wow, that's fast. And of course the player can jump onto this. Damn it. I pressed the cancel button. Of course the player could jump onto those platforms and ride them up and down just like it would normally. Let's set that up again real quick. Go into the scene, grab the pivot point, move it into the middle. And of course you can move the end point to have that at a higher vantage, so the end is high up in the air. So yeah, let's go and show you that. I've got to place myself on this. There you go. Whoa. And not fall off. This is going to be tricky because I've only got 0.5 hit area, like on the top surface of the platform. So of course, getting on the edge is going to be tricky. Let's just wait for it to slowly move up, and there you go. Now I'm being tracked. Now I'm on top of the platform. Hey, and it all works just like that. And you lose traction as soon as you come off the end. And that's my whole system. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this shows the robustness of what it can do, how it feels, how it plays. You can change it for different styles of play, and everything it can do. And of course, to finish this off, let's go and hit that start button and turn the system off. There you go. All done. Thank you very much for watching.